Hi, everyone. Welcome back to the American Dream Team podcast, where we are talking about real stories in real estate. And today, we have an amazing guest, someone that I've gotten to know in the last, I would say, a few months now, right? Met him through one of our collaboration teams, EXP. EXP. Mr. Joseph Street.
My brother, thank you for having me. It's a pleasure to be here with you today.
It's a pleasure and honor to have you with us. Just to let you know, I came prepared today.
Ooh, I see the swag.
To be on the same page with you.
I love it. I appreciate the swag.
Now, where do you get your style from? I love your style. You know,
Thank
you're
you
consistent
very
with
much.
it. Yeah, where does that come from?
So I grew up in and around the entertainment business. My parents both were entertainment business executives. So I grew up around like Jimmy Jam and Terry Lewis, who produced for Prince, Janet Jackson, Usher. Oh, wow. Yeah, my mom worked really closely with those guys. So I got to be in the scene from a young age, and that's where the swag comes from. So I got to credit my parents. Shout out my mom and dad.
All right, thanks, mom and dad. Thanks for the end result here. Yeah.
Yes.
All right, so you're on the EXP power team. I mean, I see the people you're rolling with.
Yeah, we're doing some big things.
Yeah, how did you connect with those guys? I mean, this is
So I was a CEO team leader for Keller Williams Luxury Collective, a mega team in Los Angeles. We're actually number 2 globally for Keller Williams. So really big within the brand, really big in our area. And they stole one of my top producers. That's how I ended up with them.
Wow.
Yeah, normally you get those recruiting calls like, hey, your name came across my desk. I see your production. It's impressive. That didn't happen for me. I got a call from one of my top guys saying, I love you, but I'm out.
Wow.
And that he's going to EXP. And this was literally on the heels of us losing one of our sister sites CEO team leaders to Real. So I said, okay, something's happening with these cloud-based brokerages. I need to look into it and see what's going on. So I did my research on both Real and EXP, was actually totally sold on EXP, called Randy back and said, I think you made a fantastic move, and I do want to meet those people. He said, you should meet them if you want. I'm not going to give you the hard pitch. I said, you know what? I'm going to do my research. And I did, and I told him I wanted to meet them. And when I sat down with the leadership, I told them, we don't even have to talk about EXP. I'm actually sold on the company.
Right.
I just want to get to know you.
Got it. Wow.
Yeah.
And that team, who are you mostly like close with? It's Joe and Will.
So it's like the brotherhood.
Yeah. I see it. I mean, I sense it, and that's what like resonates with me, because that's what we want too.
It's amazing. Yeah, I work really closely with Leo, Joe, Decatur, Will.
Yeah.
We all like run together. Randy's doing his thing as a solo agent, but it's like the 4 of us that are really focused on building. And we just added a 5th Avenger and Mike McCallion to the group. Wow. He was the growth director for Keller Williams, and I just brought him in last week. So that is huge, a huge piece of the puzzle. So me and Mike, we're going to take over and dominate LA.
Was he the guy that was on stage last week at the luxury event?
So that was actually Mike Shapiro.
Okay,
so Mike Shapiro was on stage.
Okay.
Powerhouse in his own right, obviously. He was doing
$7
$7 billion a year when he sold his company. He had the second largest Sotheby's franchise globally, and he sold that, and now he's with us at EXP2, proving that luxury is done at EXP.
Got it. And what about the corporate guy? He was kind of
Troy.
like Troy
Palmquist.
That was his name. Okay.
Yeah,
okay.
He
had an amazing story.
He had a really great story. I didn't do that long of a discovery call with him, so a lot of what I was finding out about him, I was finding out on stage with the audience.
Oh wow!
So that was pretty powerful. Okay. He had a great story, and I'm appreciative that he shared. Initially, he was going to just do a presentation, but then he asked if I would interview him, and I said, well, of course. So I had my questions. We just dove in, and I know what the answers were going to be because we didn't do that discovery call beforehand.
Nice. Yeah. So, one thing I noticed about you and EXP, but more specifically about you, you have a lot of energy. Now, but it makes sense because of the entertainment. But I don't think that's just it. Like it's your passion. It shows, right?
Yes.
When you're in front of a crowd. I mean, where do you get that from?
So my purpose in life is to add value to other people. if it's a simple hello at a Starbucks and a compliment, if it's working with my agents on a deal, if it's being there for a friend through a difficult time, or in that case of our event, adding value to literally 100 people through the top producing agents that I was able to bring to them. Right. So I was super amped. I knew we were going to give a ton of value, and Calculated Conversations is the name of the event that we just had. And CALC is my entire brand. Calculated. CALC is an acronym for clarity, action, leverage, and consistency. So with the whole framework built around that, I talked to everybody that was going to be on stage so that way they would tell stories that were in line with the framework. So I knew they were going to get massive value added to them. And a lot of the response was very positive. They said that they learned a lot, had a great time, had fun, and learned a lot, and things they can implement in their business right away.
Right.
I feel like too often they're just told the normal things. Oh, yeah, if you just cold call and door knock and build a sphere of influence, you'll be successful. Right. But I wanted stories. I wanted to know the good, the bad. I wanted to know jewels that they can implement in their business right away.
Right. Yeah, that was a fire event. I mean, for me, I go to quite a bit of events. I mean, they all have their benefits, but this one just in totality, I think, you know what the biggest thing that I noticed was the crowd.
Yeah.
It was the audience. Like it felt like everyone was producing there, or they were active. Like
right.
And it really felt like that. And maybe because it was the whole luxury concept. Mm-hmm. Now, have you always? I know you were the manager or at Keller Williams. You just said that, but is luxury something that you've always kind of been in that range, or?
Yes, luxury is something I've been intentional with my whole career. And even with that event, we were intentional with the invitations. So while we put it out there, we directly invited a lot of people. Most of the people that showed up were directly invited. Some people came off social media, but we didn't pay to boost any advertisements or anything like that. It's really just our organic sphere and then people that we directly invited to come. And luxury is something that I've always been drawn to my entire life. And my career, I was intentional by placing myself in that luxury space. So I started my career in property management, actually, doing Class A luxury properties. I had Nicki Minaj as one of my tenants, funnily enough, when we talked about her later on at the event when Matt was speaking. But essentially, from the day one of my career, I wanted to be in luxury, always was drawn to that. Spent over a decade in property management, managed over $3 billion in assets before I got my license and transitioned to the broker side of the table. And that's when I joined Compass, and I was part of the top team with Compass, Aaron Kerman Group. Last year I was there. They did over $1 billion in sales that 1 year.
Wow.
And they have clients, head of state. Nicki Minaj obviously was a client. Even one celebrity ended up marrying one of the agents on the team, Ariana Grande. She married one of the agents on the team. They actually are just going through a divorce right now, unfortunately. But, it's a pretty cool story to tell.
Wow.
Yeah.
Wow. So what does it take for someone to get into luxury? Is it something that you can learn, or it's more, it feels like it's more of a character and more of who you are that kind of gets you into that sphere of influence?
Yeah, that's why honestly, I really wanted the event to be even longer.
Yeah.
It was packed full of information because the event, Calculated Conversations, Breaking into Luxury, it was designed to really peek behind the veil and let people know that really anyone could do luxury, but it is, like you said, about the person.
Right.
Sometimes it might require you to change things about you. Sometimes it won't. It just depends on the individual. Anyone can do it, but not everyone will do it.
Right.
But it's not really the brokerage. It's not really the team you're on. It really comes down to you. You could join a luxury team. You could join a luxury brokerage, but that doesn't mean you'll get the luxury business. It's still about you.
Right.
You can align yourself with the right people, but it's still about you. But that you can be at any brokerage. It could be at Coldwell Banker. It could
EXP.
be at EXP. It could be at your own brokerage. It's always going to come down to you, no matter where you are. It's always going to be you.
So, let's say normal, under 1 million, there's a lot of options for a buyer or seller, right? And at the end of the day, they need the right product or service, but there is a sense of, hey, I'm going to hire you because I like you. Or some of it is, I'm going to hire you because I don't want my friends or family that's a real estate agent to know my private, information. There's some of that, right?
True. Yeah.
But at the end of the day, I have to like you. How much more of that is on the luxury end of clients? Because it's like, I don't need you. I have more options probably.
A lot more.
Right? Yeah. So how important is I have to like you more than anything?
Being liked is huge, especially in the luxury market. I think everything is amplified. So everything's like upped by 10, 20%, 30%. The higher you go on the price point, the more options these agents, or the more options the owners have when it comes to agents. So you definitely want to be likable. You definitely have to know the business. You have to know the market, because you don't know what you don't know. And if you're not familiar with the little micro area, it makes it really tough in real estate to get in. So even, for example, a micro area would be the Flats of Beverly Hills, which is a subset of Beverly Hills, but very different than the Hills of Beverly Hills. Very, very different. Whole different clientele, whole different price point, whole different ball game. If you don't know that area, you wouldn't understand the value. So how could you communicate it effectively to somebody who wants to buy it?
Got it. So you have to actually know the houses, the neighborhood. You kind of have to have a sense of that.
You definitely have to. You definitely have to. So that way you can, especially in the luxury game, because why is that house worth $10 million, $20 million, $30 million? It's not just square footage. It's more than that. It's more than the amenities inside the house. You have to really understand the location, the neighborhood, the lifestyle.
What are your areas that you kind of know?
I know Beverly Hills really well.
Really?
Being on Aaron Kerman Group, I was dominant in that area. Our team dominated Beverly Hills and Bel Air for sure. I lived most of my life in the Valley as a kid and then Playa Vista as an adult. So those are the two areas that I know very well personally. On the business side, we specialize in Beverly Hills and Bel Air. But my favorite neighborhood is Playa Vista. I love Playa Vista.
Okay. Yeah. So you're up in the LA County area.
Yeah.
Oh, okay.
Yeah.
Got it. Okay. That makes sense. Where do you see the market going right now this year? I don't know how much of the luxury market gets affected by the economy, but where do you see right now?
The luxury market definitely gets affected by the economy, 100%. They actually get hit harder. Luxury and commercial are kind of like the first key indicators. When stuff starts to go wrong there, it's going to trickle down to the rest of the market. So luxury hit really hard the last 2 years.
Okay.
Properties would stay on market, let's say like a $50 million mansion. It could be worth 50, but just sit on the market at 50. As opposed to a really good market when there's a lot of confidence, it would sell for over the value. Now it's sitting on market at the value.
Got it.
And even residential real estate agents that specialize in luxury, they're taking lower price listings all day. The money spot for everybody is really like that $1 to $3 million range, where you can make a decent commission. Like, not everybody's excited to sell, manufactured homes and mobile homes, trailers, things like that, but $1 to $3 million, that's the sweet spot. That's going to sell. It's going to move in any market when it's priced right. It just makes sense. There's enough buyers for it. The buyer demand is really high. But when you're talking about uber luxury, anything over like 20, 30, 40 million, there's only a small amount of people that can buy it. And if you're talking about a $50 million plus mansion, you're talking about 60, 70 people that are willing to buy that house that are available at any given time. It's a very, very small pool.
Got it. So you must know a lot of people in that ultra or that status.
Yes.
How do you get to meet those people?
I network a lot. I think putting yourself in the right rooms is really important. The main way you really break into the luxury business is to break into the luxury lifestyle. It does cost money to play in there, obviously. So if you don't have it, you better go get it. Once you get it, then you can start to break into that area, because you have to start living that lifestyle so they can see you as a peer.
Got it.
No one's out to do anyone a favor.
Right.
No one wants the brand new agent to have their experiment be on a luxury listing. Right. Even when it's a family member type of a situation, there's some type of a personal relationship there, you'll see a co-list with a top agent.
Got it.
It's not the area where you're going to really cut your teeth. You're going to cut your teeth somewhere else, but once you make the money and then make the connections, that gives you the opportunity to get in the luxury.
What comes to mind is it like nightlife? Is it the golf course? Is it high-end restaurants? I mean, what are some of the?
It's literally all of that. I play golf. I like to go out to lounges, be at the right spots, the hot spots, but even just being at the right coffee shop, right? So if you're at Alfred on Melrose Place, you're going to meet people.
Yeah, okay.
You're going to see all the luxury cars pull up. You're going to meet people, and it's just having a cup of coffee, but having a cup of coffee in the right place.
Got it.
Going to the right grocery stores. It might put a little commute if you don't live in the Beverly Hills area, but I would go to the Whole Foods there versus the Whole Foods in Culver City.
Got it.
It's worth the drive.
Got it. So it's the same thing at the regular, price ranges. You just networking, connections, getting to know people, but you're probably spending a little bit more time getting to know them and getting them to know you on a deeper level.
Exactly. It's just being around, being in the environment, making those connections, infiltrating the luxury lifestyle by getting that luxury network.
What about social media? I see you very active on social media. I mean, that's some good content you're putting out there. How effective has that been kind of getting your story out there?
It's been extremely effective. I built most of my business off of social media.
Oh, wow.
So even at Keller Williams Luxury Collective, I added over 90 agents in 7 months. I went on a massive recruiting spree, and most of it was for my social media.
Wow.
So how I use social media is I use it like an organic drip campaign. If you want to get in front of people, that's always the idea. You want to get your message in front of people. Right. But people aren't really opening up that many cold emails. People aren't looking at advertisements, the traditional means that a real estate agent would normally do, like bench ads, shopping cart ads. Like those are dead. It doesn't work anymore. Even if you try to door knock or cold call, most of the time that it's not their right phone number. If you try to door knock in a gated community, good luck even getting in. I mean, you could try to follow a car in, but you'll probably get the security called on you pretty quick. But the way to get in front of those people is social media because everybody's addicted to the scroll. Right. So they're on Instagram, they're on TikTok, they're on Facebook, they're there. And if you want your message to get out there, that's the best place. So that's how I leverage it. I use it as an organic drip campaign.
Got it.
I'll turn on my post notifications for people that I'm working closely with so I can be on top of their posts, liking, commenting. And when you do that, your posts in turn show up in their feed more often. That's like a little hack. If you just are engaging with people, Instagram says, oh, this must be a person that's close to them. They're engaging with each other. So then your content will start to show up for them more often.
Got it. Are there any success stories of real estate agents that joined your team and they wanted to get into the luxury market? So they start getting training from you and they start applying these lessons. And now they're actually getting some business in the luxury market.
Yeah, 100%. I had an agent come to me. He wasn't even from Los Angeles. He's actually from Chattanooga. Yeah, exactly.
I think I heard of it, but I'm not sure where that is. Okay.
Yeah, Country Boy. That's in Tennessee. So Chattanooga. Tennessee, okay. And he came out to Los Angeles wanting to break into luxury real estate. He saved up money to move to LA.
That's like a Hollywood story. I want to go become an actor
type of thing. Wow. It literally is a Hollywood story. He thought he'd come out here and basically win the lottery. So he moved to downtown LA, hung his license at Douglas Elliman, Beverly Hills, thinking that Josh Altman is licensed at Douglas Elliman, Beverly Hills, Tracy Tudor, Josh Flagg, all these people on the shows that he watched, $1 Million Listing, were hung mostly at Douglas Elliman. So that's where I need to be. So he hung his license there and was going to the team meetings and trying to follow the direction, but just couldn't really cut through, couldn't get a listing, couldn't get a buyer that was serious.
I see.
It's tough. It is tough when you're a new agent. So anyway, I ended up meeting him out networking. And I told him, listen, you have great energy. You just need a little guidance. You need a little direction. You're not achieving success because you're not doing things in the right way. I told him, if you come and work with me, if you give me 6 months, I guarantee you won't be working with a buyer. You'll probably have a listing. You'll have it sold.
Wow.
So
Can you share a little bit of like, what was for him, what was the turning point?
Yeah. For him, he wasn't putting himself out there intentionally. You have to be intentional with everything that you do. If you want to, in this case, specialize in the luxury market, he wanted to do something in like the area surrounding downtown LA because that's going to be the easiest for him to be involved in the life in the area. So living in downtown LA, he was like, okay, I can hit Glendale pretty easily. I can tap over to the west side a little bit, maybe like East Hollywood, West Hollywood. I could tap into these areas. It's not far for me to drive where I can make that commute. So I said, okay, perfect. Let's focus and let's start on one. Let's just pick Glendale. Glendale has higher priced homes. Let's pick Glendale. So now you are a Glendale person. Everything you do now is in Glendale.
You eat in Glendale, go shop in Glendale, take pictures in Glendale.
Right, you get your car washed in Glendale. Everything happens in Glendale.
Okay.
Everything. And you're tagging everything. And you're going to be extremely intentional. Now you only sit open houses in Glendale. You're not going to sit open houses everywhere. You're going to be intentional. Everything Glendale. New to market, you're going to tour a house in Glendale that just came to market, and you're going to put that on your social media within the price point that you want to specialize in. So that way, when you actually do meet somebody and they can't afford that $1 to $3 million house in Glendale, or they own that $1 to $3 million house in Glendale, they go to your social media. What are they going to see?
They're going to see
$1 to $3 million houses in Glendale.
Yes.
So he did that.
Wow. I see it, bro.
Yes.
Wow.
He did that and then put in a little sweat equity on top of it,
Yeah,
because
yeah,
it's
of
not all
course,
about
of course.
just being social.
Right.
So he would cold call, he would door knock, he would do those traditional things, but those things don't work in vacuums.
Right,
Especially in
right.
this day and age, you have to be on social media.
Right.
It is the new business card. It is the new website. Honestly, you probably don't need a business card or a website. I don't even have a business card. I do digital cards.
Right,
Everything's digital. So he listened. Literally within his first 3 months, he got a listing, $2 million in Glendale, and we sold it in 43 days.
Wow.
Yeah.
Wow. I see that.
So
I
within
see
the first 6 months, exactly what I told him would happen because he was intentional,
Right,
and very coachable. And now, granted, I couldn't have the same success story with everyone.
Of course,
right?
of course.
He already had the right pedigree, so to speak.
Right,
He was articulate. He was well dressed. He had confidence. These kind of key indicators of success from other areas that do translate into real estate.
But what you were able to identify was you saw what he had, and then you saw what was missing, right? And not everyone can follow. And you can't just go into Glendale right now and start eating, taking pictures, and set that up if you're not willing to make the calls, right? Show up to work, dress, and have that mindset of, okay, I'm looking for business. I got to generate leads.
So that's part of it. It's not even the social media aspect doesn't work in a vacuum.
Of course.
It does take everything, but the piece that most people are missing is their social media. It's usually not too intentional. Right. Usually you'll see stuff in Beverly Hills, you'll see stuff in Santa Monica, Orange County, you'll see stuff everywhere. Wow. And it's hard to serve anyone when you try to serve everyone.
Got it.
But if you're really specific and you say, this is my niche, this is what I'm doing, then it makes it a lot easier for you to get what you want. Now, that's not saying you're going to turn down business anywhere.
Yeah, of course.
But when I look at your social media, I better see and better get an idea of exactly what it is
you do or where you're at. Okay.
What your brand is.
Right, what your brand is. So, okay, let me ask you this then. If you have a team, right, do you recommend, or I guess it could go either way, but if you have a team of, like, let's say 10 people, right, would it be better each person on the team is focusing on a different area, or all 10 people in one area? I guess, it depends on what the strategy is, but any insight on that? I'm just trying to pick your brain here.
I love it. Yeah. I love it. That's a great question. Okay. That's a great question. So when I was on Aaron Kerman's team, we dominated Beverly Hills, dominated Bel Air. Everyone was trying to market pretty much in Beverly Hills and Bel Air. So I decided to do the opposite. I saw exactly what they were doing. I was like, oh, okay, cool. I like that. I like what you're doing as far as your marketing, as far as your intentionality. I like that. But everybody on the team is pretty much trying to shoot at the same few people. Right, and that would literally turn into a thing where they would try to set a listing appointment and say they were going to bring Aaron, but somebody else already had a listing appointment set up the day before, and they already told them they're going to bring Aaron, and Aaron's only going to go to one.
I see.
So I do think it is good if you're going to have a team to have them spread out, especially if it's an area that they want to work in. I would try to avoid having that conflict, especially if they are going to need you as a leader to show up. Because let's say, throw out random names, Jessica sets up an appointment on Monday to see 123 Main Street. 123 Main Street is the house that she has a listing appointment for. If Jeff the next day tries to set up 123 Main Street, you already went. You already have an appointment on the books. So how can you really support both people? It makes it difficult. It makes it a little uncomfortable. So I decided to specialize in Playa Vista. I'd already lived in the area. I loved the area. I already had my life there, so it was a lot easier for me to stay on brand and stay consistent with the Playa Vista lifestyle. So I did that and brought that same luxury presence to Playa Vista. And Playa Vista, you got a 2-bedroom condo that's going for $2 million. Like, that's just how it is in the area. It's high price for sure.
So if someone really wants to focus on a location, because I know a lot of agents, when they're asked the question, hey, what area do you service? A lot of them say, I go everywhere, right?
Yeah.
Now, that's possible, but is it better to just focus on one area where it's high priced? Mine as well, if I'm branding that area. But I am showing that I have a team that can go everywhere if I need to go, to this appointment, that appointment. Like, what's your take on that? Or that depends on where the person is in their career as well, I guess.
I would say probably a little bit of both, because an agent that has a big business isn't going to go everywhere. Not to say that.
Right.
But let's just say, for example, you have a big big business on the west side of Los Angeles. Chances of you taking a listing or wanting to work with a buyer in Palmdale, Lancaster, Victorville is pretty slim. So are you really going everywhere? Right. If I had a listing in Chula Vista, just outside of San Diego, are you going to go down there? Probably not. Probably not. Now, somebody who's young and hungry, yeah, they probably would. They'd probably go anywhere. They'd probably take anything. Now, I still think, even let's just say that young and hungry person that literally would go anywhere, Santa Barbara to San Diego. Okay, great. That's good for you.
Because they don't have business yet.
You don't have business yet.
Yeah,
exactly. Because if you think about the opportunity cost of you driving really far one direction just to have one listing appointment that you may or may not get, you sucked up a whole entire day where you could have had 5 in an area if you were intentional.
Right. Okay.
So in the beginning, especially if you're building a career, yeah, do it. Go wherever. Go to where the business is if you're willing to make the drive.
Yeah.
But when I look at your social media, I should see your ideal avatar of a client. That should be apparent.
Got it.
Now, if you
that's the key right there. That's the key.
Exactly. Okay. Now, if you meet somebody, like let's say that's not the avatar, you meet somebody at a coffee shop who's looking to spend $750 on a small little studio condo in downtown LA, but you said Playa Vista was your neighborhood and that's your ideal avatar, you still help that person, for sure.
Right.
I would shout them out on my stories, all of that. I would be involved in social media just the same, but I wouldn't let that live on my main feed. Because when I'm trying to be the Playa Vista expert
over time,
I don't want to see all these other homes that aren't Playa Vista. I mean, it's going to live on the website. It's out there for people to see. But just as far as like branding goes and that intentionality, the messaging that you want to be permanent always should be on brand. Always.
Got it. So on yours, I didn't even notice these things.
Check it out.
But I'm going to go to yours.
And if you look.
So by the way, your Instagram is
j.street.mba. So that is me.
Just like that.
Boom.
And there's a color theme of yellow. Is yellow one of your colors? Or is that just the theme
black,
of the...
black and yellow, black and yellow, black and yellow.
Okay. So if
you look at mine, you'll see I'm intentionally adding value to agents. Every post that lives there is intentionally adding value to agents because I'm in a leadership position.
Got it.
You don't see things there of me saying, hey, look at this house I just sold. You don't see that there. You don't see like on there me hosting an open house with another agent who I'm working with. You don't see that. I'm intentionally just adding value,
Unless it's $39 million.
Oh, that's old, but that worked though. That works. That was from Aaron Kerman's days. That was before I got into leadership. But yeah, it's all on brand when you look at it. Everything that I do is intentional.
So if I go to, can you think of someone on your team or anyone that you can remember that has a good brand on social media that's putting their area on their posts? Can you think of anyone?
Let's see.
Real Estate Los Angeles.
My phone's over there. I was like, I don't know. Who has probably the best Instagram? Let me grab my phone. Okay. Yeah. So if you go to Brian Welch's page, so it's the Realtor Brian. That's his Instagram there. He intentionally focuses on the Hollywood Hills area. He intentionally wants to be that luxury agent. There's a little Beverly Hills, little Bel Air sprinkles in there, but that's okay. Hollywood Hills is kind of like Beverly Hills adjacent almost. But the most important thing you get from his profile is it's all professional. It's all on brand. He's really into fitness. Health and fitness and family are really important to him. He has a team with his 2 brothers. So if you see, like, everything is right on brand. It's health, it's fitness, it's family, it's luxury real estate, even though he sells homes that are outside of that scope. He'll sell a house in Victorville. He'll go wherever the business is because that's the point that they are in their business. They're young and hungry right now. So wherever the business is, if it's in San Diego, if it's in Valencia, Santa Clarita, they're taking it. And you'll see that on their stories just because they're in the hustle, they're in the grind. But you won't see that on their main page. Their main page is curated. That's the best way to think about it. The story should be your behind the scenes. Your main page, that should be curated.
Makes sense. Wow. Brother, that is a golden nugget. And, this is just, a sneak peek of, I'm sure, some of the things that you offer to your team. If anyone wants to reach out to you, I mean, even if they're not interested in joining EXP, at this moment or anything like that, but just to get some tips, are you okay with them reaching out to you?
100%. Yeah? I would love that. So speaker, author, coach is really what I'm passionate about. That's the main lane. EXP is definitely great, and I leverage that into my business as well.
Of course.
So if somebody wants to stay at their brokerage, that's great. I could still help them. I could still even coach them on a consistent basis. They could be a coaching client. So love that. But yeah, they can DM me on Instagram, j.street.mba. Even my phone number, 310-738-2038. I'm sure we could put it across the bottom of the screen in editing.
Absolutely. Well, Joe, I really appreciate your time today. Listen, for more information like this, just a break of the iceberg. I can't even get my words out right. Tip of the iceberg. There you go. Tip of the iceberg. And Joe Street, I've gotten to know him over the last couple months, but getting to know him today, like this guy, I can tell you, a wealth of knowledge from his experience, and he's speaking from experience. You can tell. Very good storyteller. Check out his story, follow him, and ask him how he can help you elevate your brand, and you will be able to move on up
like the Jeffersons. Yes, I'd love to help. I'd love to be of value. Adding value to others is my purpose in life. Even if it's a quick question, I'd love to answer. You don't have to be a coaching client. I'm just here to support, add value. Thank you so much for giving me the opportunity, your platform. I appreciate you, brother.
Thank you, brother.
And I look forward to us doing many more deals together, many more speaking engagements together.
Yes, absolutely.
Yeah, so it's been a pleasure.
All right, everyone, for more content like this, follow, like, and subscribe to our channel, American Dream Team. Talk to you soon. I really like that. Branding the area. Location. I like that. Now I'm going to look for that. Look for that. Cool, bro.
It's powerful, man. It really is.
Think lunch is here? You want to stick around for a
Yeah,
little bit of lunch? All right.
I'd love to.